Arcadian Vanguard presents The Wrestling News in your daily wrestling newscast for Friday, November 17th, 2023. Good morning, I'm Mike Sempervive. We begin today with Tony Khan's Full Gear media briefing from yesterday. During the call, Khan gave an update on the condition of Bryan Danielson, who recently underwent surgery on his orbital bone.
I don't want to speak for him on that, but I know Bryan always puts the wrestling as a priority. There's also the issue of we're waiting for Bryan to get final clearance to fly. He was able to come to Collision in Oakland this past weekend because it was a drive that he was able to make, but he's not able to fly. He can ride in a car. So Pittsburgh is a long way from where he lives, and also WrestleCade, I believe, is a long way from where he lives. So there's a couple of things still at play there, but I would let him speak to that. But I'm not too familiar with that event, so I can't say. Thanks.
Khan also indicated that Full Gear has surpassed a $900,000 gate and stated he is expecting final walk-up business to help the event surpass the $1 million mark. In response to a question from the Wrestling Observer's Dave Meltzer, Khan also discussed AEW's general strategy this year of increasing its overall pay-per-views.
It's been a lot of interesting and great things that have come from doing more pay-per-view events for us. And it's definitely been great for the business, bottom line. And that is something I felt confident about, frankly, Dave, from years of studying wrestling economics and business trends. And something you over the years have written is about the inelasticity of pro wrestling as a market, and that really every wrestling company that's expanded the pay-per-view calendar has been happy.
In WWE news, the company will present its first premium live event in continental Europe, with WWE Backlash coming to the LDLC Arena in Paris, France on May 4th, according to an official announcement yesterday. WWE first came to France with a TV special on French cable channel Canal Plus in October of 1987, with a card headlined by the Rougeau brothers against the Dream Team. 1 year later, on a second Canal Plus special, Rockin' Robin defeated Sherry Martel for the women's title, marking the first time a WWE championship had changed hands outside of North America. Ring of Honor streamed on Honor Club last night, featuring matches taped on November 8th at the Moda Center in Portland, Oregon, and on November 10th at the Oakland Arena in Oakland, California. ROH World Champion Eddie Kingston made the fifth defense of his title, putting down the challenge of former champion Dalton Castle. Castle's boys also defeated the Bollywood Boys in a tag team match on the show. Also on the show, AAA Mega Champion El Hijo del Vikingo teamed with Commander to defeat Christopher Daniels and Matt Sydal, and ROH World Women's Champion Athena teamed with Billy Starks to defeat Brooke Havoc and Johnny Robbie. In other selected results, QT Marshall retained the AAA Latin American title against Aaron Solo, Layla Hirsch and Rachel Ellering defeated the Renegade Twins, Trent Beretta beat Peter Avalon, and Emi Sakura defeated Rebel Kell. In ratings news, the Full Gear Go Home edition of AEW Dynamite drew a total audience of 823,000 at TBS, according to WrestleNomics. That's an increase from last week's audience of 804,000. In the key 18 to 49-year-old demographic, the rating drew a .28, which is slightly ahead of last week's .27 key demo rating. Impact Wrestling aired last night on Access TV, featuring matches taped October 22nd at Cicero Stadium in Cicero, Illinois. In the main event, Will Ospreay defeated former Impact World Champion Josh Alexander. Ace Austin and Chris Bay made the first defense of their newly regained Impact World Tag Team title, turning back the challenge of Kenny King and Sheldon Jean.
And now could it be? Here it is.
There's the one, the art of finesse.
And there's the two, the fold.
Jean is down.
Whoa.
Hey, legal, the cover, the ABC retain.
Ladies and gentlemen, your winners and still Impact World Tag Team Champions, the ABC.
On a night where we will see Will Ospreay versus Josh Alexander in our main event. What a way to begin things. Chicago.
The match was the last in Impact for King, who was granted his release yesterday after nearly 2 years with the company. The show also featured a mixed six-man tag team match in which Bully Ray joined with Jordan Grace to defeat Kylan King and Steve Macklin.
Wow, Jordan Grace went for another spinning back fist. Kylan King, oh, incidental contact there with Macklin. Bully sends Macklin to the outside.
And another back fist.
Oh, look out, the Juggernaut driver. Grace and Bully win.
Here are your winners, Bully Ray and Jordan Gray.
In other results, Knockouts World Champion Trinity beat Sonny Kiss, Moose topped Heath, and the team of Juventud Guerrera, Black Taurus, and Laredo Kid went over the Rascals. The match marked Guerrera's first appearance on Impact's weekly show in 20 years. And before we leave you today, we'd like to remind you that however you consume your content, you can find the wrestling news 24 hours a day and 7 days a week across social media. On Twitter, follow us at Wrestling News AV. Our Facebook page is also Wrestling News AV. The Wrestling News can also be found on the Arcadian Vanguard YouTube page. And for those who utilize Amazon Echo devices, just tell Alexa to play the Wrestling News podcast. And remember to make sure you add podcast at the end. Once again, for daily updates, breaking news, and more, follow the Wrestling News across social media. And that's the news for today. If anything happens, we will be here to tell you about it. No clickbait, no paywall, just the Wrestling News. The Wrestling News is a division of Arcadian Vanguard, and the Wrestling Newscast is a production of the Arcadian Vanguard Podcast Network.